Here we go. All right. I believe we're feeding out to the folks out there while I'm waiting for confirmation. Make sure audio and everything is good. Of course, I'm going to direct you guys to hankstrange.com. That's the place you need to go to. Sign up for our email list. Lola shares deals on there. We send out lots of information to you folks. Is on there, actually. So if you go look around in the Strangerholics tab, there's a link of all the different places you can follow us, all the different sites and platforms and all that we're on. You can also support us over there by getting some patches. So here's 2 patches that we've had up here for a while. Basically the broadcasting patch and then this laser blaster patch. But now there is the 2020 was hell in a handbasket patch. And that is also up there. So and go there and support us. And I believe Lola is still sending out these stickers when you get stuff in that. So go check that out. We've got lots to get into here. So everyone stay right there. I'm going to load my guests up in. Let's see. We got Gorillas and Guns. We got Sanctuary Counties in here. Let's smash the open and get into this.
Welcome back to the Hank Strange
All right, so make sure you guys subscribe to the channel here, smash the thumbs up, ring the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. We are live. Let's see. Come on with the jazz hands, dudes. It's Friday. There you go. Everyone's doing jazz hands. And I hope you got your big girl panties on because it's going to be fun tonight. It's going to be fun. It's Friday. I missed the show yesterday, so first of all, I got to say a million apologies. Million apologies to everyone. I thought that we had put out stuff saying that we weren't going to be on and whatever, and I was out on the road up to shenanigans. So there was no way I was making it back. So I apologize for that. We're going to have a fun show. We'll try to like pack 4 hours into 2 hours tonight.
No pressure.
If that's possible. Big shout out to Walther Arms for sponsoring us and helping us to do this. If you guys are watching right now, please share this somewhere. Let friends, neighbors, whoever know about it that we're on here. This is podcast number 703. And my guests are Noah from Sanctuary Counties. Noah, what's up, man?
Hey, man, what's up?
How's it going?
It's going good. I've been busy working on these new maps and stuff and following the Sanctuary movement.
Okay, awesome, man. I know you're doing a lot of work out there, and I've told the folks out here that we want to have you back on this year more and more. I think you're doing good stuff. I think you'd be a great resource for people out there, and I want to see the whole country become a sanctuary, which is kind of weird because we have a constitution.
You would think,
Scott,
right?
Yeah. Scott, shout out to Scott, Gorillas and Guns. It's weird that we have to have like sanctuaries for stuff that we already have, but I guess this is where we're going now.
It's just how it is now.
Yeah. So what's up, Scott, Gorillas and Guns? What's up, man?
Same old, just living and breathing and, trying to keep on top of things as much as I can. There's a lot of stuff happening, and it's all happening pretty fast.
Yeah.
So just trying to keep on top of it is a job in itself.
Absolutely. I understand that. I like that shirt that you're rocking there, by the way.
Yeah, I got it from these strange people.
Yeah, let's see that. It looks like a Fort Scott Munitions shirt right there. Very nice, very nice. Got some goodies in the mail. And then look at Noah's shirt. Low.
Yeah.
Lifestyles of the Locked and Loaded. If you don't have it, you're not cool. You're actually not cool.
I got the, what is it, Electric Boogaloo or whatever?
Yeah.
I think I told you last time that my wife saw the package. She was like, why are you buying Boogaloo crap? I'm like, no, it's just the name. It was the design.
Yeah, that's the original Boogaloo pattern right there that belonged to Magnum PI. That's the OG Boogaloo shirt right there.
Do it.
But don't wear that and then go to any of these 50 rallies in the Capitol that the FBI is setting up as a honeypot for people.
I don't plan on going to any of those.
Avoid that. You might get immediately rushed into a black van, right? G&G.
Snatch you up. Look, he's got Hawaiian stuff on.
Yeah, then it's over for you. So listen, we've got a bunch of stuff. We're going to talk about sanctuary counties. We're going to talk about stuff going on with Gorillas and Guns here as well. I know the big news that was coming out while we were, right, I think that came out like about maybe an hour or so before we came on air, is NRA. NRA back in the news. So, did you guys see this? You see the NRA stuff?
I saw that pop into my feed.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to read it all, but
Yeah.
like I was saying earlier, I was thinking about putting on an NRA hat and just to wish them well.
So here we go. So I'll share this if you guys haven't seen it. There's a lot of stuff out there, but National Rifle Association files for bankruptcy. And this was on Fox 12, put out by the Associated Press. We can't trust any of these people, but this kind of news, whatever. Austin, Texas, the National Rifle Association, NRA, announced Friday it has filed for bankruptcy and will seek to incorporate the nation's most politically influential gun rights group in Texas instead of New York. The announcement made on the NRA's website comes months after New York Attorney General sued the organization over claims that top executives illegally diverted tens of millions of dollars for lavish personal trips, no-show contracts for associates, and other questionable expenditures. It says the coronavirus pandemic has also upended the NRA, which last year laid off dozens of employees, canceled its national convention, and scuttled fundraising. Still, the NRA claimed in announcing the move that the organization was in its strongest financial condition in years. And it said the NRA filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in a Dallas federal court. This is a quote: "The move will enable long-term sustainable growth and ensure the NRA's continued success as the nation's leading advocate for constitutional freedom, free from the toxic political environment of New York." This is what they said in the statement. And also there was an email, which I know Crump, if you guys follow John Crump on crumpy.com, he put out an email from, from LaPierre, I guess, to supporters. I don't know if anyone saw that either. But let's start with this. Reactions to this: Gorillas and Guns, sanctuary counties. Anyone feel free to jump in here.
Well, I heard that they're filing the bankruptcy so they can get out of New York because of the harassment they've been receiving. They don't feel welcomed in New York. Well, to me, I think if you want to be a true pro-gun organization or pro-anything organization, that's where you want to be. You want to be where the fight is going to be the hardest, where they don't want you, because that's where the fight is, and they're like, well, we're going to move it from New York and move it down to Texas where we have 400,000 plus members. Well, I mean, yeah, there's some things going on down in Texas, but it's not as, crucial as what's going on in New York. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's kind of where I leave it.
Okay. What do you think? What do you think about that? What do you think about that, Noah?
Well, I mean, you make a good point there, Gorillas and Guns, but I would say that if they're actively trying to eliminate you, like eradicate your entire organization financially through, was it lawfare or whatnot, that maybe you need to move your home base or whatever somewhere else and then project, your fight back into New York from somewhere where they can't get at you. I don't know. Right. That's just my rationalization, maybe. But I haven't really looked too far into this other than what you just read, to be honest. I was busy working on the website all day.
Yeah, right. Doing the people's work, the real work that, I don't know, maybe some big massive organization with hundreds of millions of dollars should be doing. Huh.
Right. Yeah.
I wonder if we could think of an organization.
Might want to get on that.
So, here's my take on this, right? The NRA should have not been in New York for years now. How long has New York been anti-gun? So in terms of, I understand what you're saying, Gorillas and Guns, that's where the fight is. But why do they have to be organized there? That just opens them up to these kinds of attacks, right? So that's maybe, I don't know if that's on their side, but for a long time I've been saying, why the hell are they in New York? Why did they even make themselves subject to this? But on the flip side of that, who told the NRA to be corrupt and waste the money and do all this stuff? Right?
Good point.
So I think that I really wish that they were in trouble. If you look at the letter that he put out there, he's saying they've never been stronger. They've never had, they've got money. It's just a strategic move, like G&G was saying, to get out of this New York thing. And so, okay, they're going to Texas, and I get that. But then does that mean now that they could keep taking, because they still have a lot of members and they're getting money,
So I got a question about that.
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned just now, he's saying that they're in great position, they're in great shape, got all this money. That doesn't seem like a very good argument when you're trying to file for bankruptcy, does it? Like, should you be keeping that under your belt? Does bankruptcy just automatically happen, or are they like, well, you just said you got all this cash, right?
Yeah, I mean, and the AG's not going to see that from New York.
I don't know.
Yeah.
They're gunning for you over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out to JP from Blue Rifle Society, by the way. I see him out there in the chat. Yeah, well, there's a lot of craziness going on here, and I don't really feel sorry for NRA. They did a lot of wrong things. They haven't really represented the people. I wish that the corrupt leaders there would just step down, step aside, give the organization back to the people who really care about fighting for the Second Amendment. They clearly did wrong stuff. Now, do I think did New York go after them because they're the NRA? For sure. But if they were doing the right thing, they wouldn't have opened themselves to this in the first place. And if they were really out there fighting for the Second Amendment over all things, we would all be fully behind them. But how can we be behind them when it's undeniable? Like, they're not even denying that they did this stuff. They did it. So... yeah, it's a mess, man.
Bit of a mess, yeah.
Yeah. And you know what's ironic? We probably need them now more than ever.
Although it does seem like there's a lot more organizations stepping up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, there are. You're
like,
right.
I'll be honest, before Democrats took control in Virginia, I'd never even heard of Gun Owners of America.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but now their name's out there to me. Like, I was never really politically active before they started trying to take my guns and make me a felon.
Mm-hmm.
So
let me ask you this. I'm just curious, since we're having this conversation. Is 2A Sanctuaries, is it a nonprofit? What's going on there?
So actually, I ended up creating an LLC.
Mm-hmm.
So right now it's an LLC. I've been in touch with a lawyer, thinking about making it a 501c3 so that, it's a nonprofit. So that's in the works.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't gonna announce it until it was ready. Thanks for putting me on the spot there.
Oh, sorry about that. Just thoughts hit my brain and words come out.
No, it's okay. But so right now it's a LLC, but we're gonna try to make that a nonprofit so people could donate if they want.
Well, that's the reason why I'm asking, right? I mean, this is where money should be going to. I think there's still a lot of us very concerned about the Second Amendment and supporting organizations, and I'm glad that organizations like GOA, which has been around for a while, is getting stronger, and there's FPC, and there's, there's a lot of folks out there fighting and doing things, individuals and all of that. But everyone could use the support. It's weird. I don't think NRA's really lost a lot of members. There's a lot of us gun guys that are disenchanted with it. Am I wrong with this, or do they still have 5 million people from somewhere?
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really think they've lost a whole bunch of members, but they have lost some for sure, because I know a lot of guys who say, well, once my membership runs out, I'm not signing back up. But a lot of them have also gotten a lifetime membership, so they're going to be members, straight on through. Yes, we need all the organizations that we can get on our side 100%. I mean, the more voices we have out there, the better off we'll be, the more we can be heard. So, yeah, even if you disagree with them, it's still good to, support them a little bit, because they are still, a voice in the dark.
Mm-hmm. The NRA?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any organization for that fact. I mean, as long as you know that they're trying to fight a little bit. See, my point of keeping the NRA around is because it seems like they're the biggest target of the government and and the leftists and the anti-gun. So let's let them keep being attacked, so that way all the other organizations can do what they got to do.
Oh, I see what you're saying. So it's like in the movies when the guy gets one of the bad guys and uses him as a human shield.
Right.
So we're basically using the NRA.
You take all the fire.
I don't know. We'll have to see how that strategy works out.
Thanks, NRA.
Yeah, man, I think right now they could be doing a lot of stuff and shoring up a lot of spines in D.C., but they're not really doing that because they're dealing with all of this. And maybe, this is just like one of those. This is part of the formula of why we're seeing a lot of crap right now. I mean, I think they were not very present in the elections. They're definitely not there keeping, even the Republicans in line. And we're probably looking at a high potential here for gun legislation, not only passing through, Congress and the Senate and Congress, but also like actually getting to a president's desk that maybe get signed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we could have used them over the last couple of years, and they just created this. Of course, they're going to be a target. Everyone's a target, right?
Yeah.
So let's see what Elster's Rifles and Reloading says. NRA made their own bed. Love me some GOA. 42 Chilled says they don't want gun control to go away Their way to fundraise and junk mail you, the sky's falling. Yeah, they're still hitting us up. Pitchlock says NRA equals meat shield. I
like that one. I saw that one. It was funny.
Yeah. Lots of people are liking that.
I will say, I don't know if NRA is going to be able to junk mail you much longer if they go the way of Parler or whatnot, and end up getting. We all got to start worrying about that now, right? Have our platform just taken out from under us.
Now, but here's one of the things that goes to Gorillas and Guns argument here, right? NRA is not just a not-for-profit organization; it's a civil rights group. Mm-hmm. So them pulling that junk on a civil rights group versus Parler, that's a corporation, two different things. Now, I don't believe that what happened to Parler is I don't like that, and I think there's definitely multiple violations going on there. But see, no one really messes with NRA like this because it's a civil rights group. Nobody wants those lawsuits. The NRA themselves know that they will make money from those people fighting those lawsuits because of their status as a civil rights group. And that's why even we see them, like, remember YouTube wasn't allowing any gun advertising, but we will see the NRA advertising. You know, so this does go to what what Gorillas and Guns was saying. I'm not saying that he's a genius. Might have been some extra vitamins or something. On YouTube. Some extra vitamins in those bananas or something.
Yeah. Well, I am drinking the vitamin water too, so
okay. Yeah.
Boost the brain function.
But it makes it more difficult, I think, to go after them because of that status. But I think also that's why New York and other places are trying to pull that status down. I think, let's see. Elster says NRA needs to spend less money on duffel bags and more money on freedom.
Less money on Wayne suits.
Yeah. They just didn't, I don't know, man. We've talked about this so much, right? This is just another chapter along the way. I really think they're still good, and I think they have a lot of money. And they're going to come out on the other side of this because at the end of the day, the people, most of there's a massive amount of gun people that are just not informed, even up till now, of what's really going on.
Just to go back to it, like he was saying, he never heard of the GOA until the whole 2A sanctuary thing came up. There's still a lot of people out there who haven't heard of the GOA, and they're like, well, the NRA, that's our only option. So they, shoveling money into them. And I'm like, well, no, there's more than just the NRA out there, and I'll bring up the GOA because I really like the GOA. I support them a lot. So I really push them as much as I can to people throughout the country because it's a national organization. But, there's a lot of small organizations within everybody's states, too, that, people need to look at as well because those are the little vertebrae of the backbone.
Yeah.
So, BCDL.
Yeah. I agree with that. There are a lot of different organizations and people that are doing things and fighting. And really, it's what NRA should have been doing. But I think they just did this thing where they were trying to have ownership over everything. And a better strategy for them back when they decided to do the whole NRA TV thing and waste hundreds of millions of dollars would have been to identify the folks out there already doing things and help support them. That's what the folks on the other side do. That's what Bloomberg does, right?
Yep.
Soros, that's what those guys are doing. They identify organizations out there fighting us all the time, and they're like, hey, we want to make sure we keep you going. We'll get you lawyers. We'll get, what do you need? Money? You need offices? You need
Hmm.
this thing? The NRA instead try to own people. But if they would have gone the other route and supported folks out there, then what would have happened is even when they came under attack, right, a lot of people would say, hey, these guys have been doing the right thing by us. We're going to stand behind them now. The problem is, it's the opposite situation. We know they haven't been doing the right thing, and then we get to see now what they did with all this money, and the money in NRA TV was just totally just flushed, and here we are where people there's so many things they could have done. They could have supported like better platforms for folks like us, all kinds of things, and they just didn't do it. So yeah, I it's a tough thing to think about because there are things that we still need them for,
There
but
could
I don't.
be
Yeah,
some money to be made in the gun website hosting business. Holler at
yeah,
ar15.com.
yeah, or a lot of freedom stuff. I mean, I think right now Parler is really. I think they said I've seen them say that they've found people to be the servers, but Parler's not back up. I know I saw an interview that Bongino did with Glenn Beck on the Blaze, and he was like, "I'll go broke trying to do
Yeah.
this."
Yeah, I was telling Lola earlier that it's kind of a bummer. I wanted to share this link out to my folks on Parler. I had 29,000 followers there, and then
Wow,
it's all gone.
29,000.
Yeah, I've been working hard, man.
Yeah, man, you were doing it. You were
So
pioneering over on Parler.
yeah, now it's all down the tube for now. Let's hope
Yeah,
they get
for
back.
now. Maybe it'll come back. So, do you have backups other than Parler? Are you on other places? Are you on Minds or anything like that?
I heard you guys talking about mines
Mm-hmm.
on the other show.
Mm-hmm.
It was a couple days ago. I can't
Mm-hmm.
remember who was on, and I
Mm-hmm.
haven't had a chance to check those out yet. I
Yeah.
definitely set up on MeWe. I think I sent you a link. Yeah, a link. I set up I actually started setting up on MeWe
Mm-hmm.
because uh, so when we were doing this 2A sanctuary stuff, we were just getting started out. A lot of it happened in these Facebook groups called like Virginia for 2A sanctuaries, Michigan for 2A sanctuaries, Georgia for 2A
Mm-hmm.
sanctuaries, Kentucky United. They had to be different for some reason, but we had all these groups, right? And then I noticed that every now and then, like I would log in and another group would be gone
Mm-hmm.
and another one. And so like Michigan, 90,000 yeah, I think it was like 100,000 people gone. They shut it
Mm-hmm.
down. Kentucky United had like 90,000 people gone. They shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what's going on here? And I mean, my assumption is that what they realized is that we were being too effective. By being able to organize in these groups on platforms that had massive numbers of people, that they had to come up with reasons to shut us down. So I think the Michigan one was, I don't know, the group that was gonna do whatever with the Michigan governor. I don't even want to say
Mm-hmm.
it, get you flagged or something. But those crazy guys, I think they used that as a pretext to shut that group down. And Michigan was doing crazy. They were doing really good, like flipping counties left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And then next thing you know, gone. And their admins booted. Their
Mm-hmm.
lifetime's worth of photos and videos and everything gone. Like they were banned from the platform. Also, I work with Wisconsin Grandsons of Liberty
Mm-hmm.
and Tim. Tim over there at Wisconsin Grandsons of Liberty. He emailed me and he told me that they completely deplatformed him. He had their main page. They had county pages, county level pages, and they've been working hard to get Second Amendment sanctuary counties over there as well. And all of them gone. They completely deplatformed them. So I decided that since they were trying to make it so that we can't organize and we can't, come up with plans and get people involved on Facebook anymore, I decided to go ahead and set something up on another platform. The only one that I could find that at the time had groups was MeWe. I was looking forward to setting up something on Parler in January. Right about now, they should have been launching their Dens feature on Parler, and I was just waiting for that. I was gonna get my 2A sanctuary
Mm-hmm.
counties groups,
Yeah, you were
and
gonna go to 300,000 or something.
yeah, yeah. But then of course, they had to go ahead and shut that down too. So now hopefully they'll be able to get it back up and I'll be able to get in there. But for now, I got that link in the chat if you want to share it. I can
Okay,
probably go in.
let me
You can check
see.
it.
Which one of
But
them is it? I know I was.
it's Facebook is censoring Second Amendment
Okay.
sanctuary groups.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, I got it right here. I will share it with the folks out there right now. And actually, let me put it up on the screen so you guys could see it here. There you go. Facebook is censoring Second Amendment sanctuary groups. We built new ones. So here you go. It's talking about MeWe, which a lot of people have been talking about. I haven't had time to really dig in to MeWe, but I will.
Yeah, actually, just so you know, and I tried to get on Gab as well, and so far MeWe has been the platform that is the most stable through all of this. They've actually been around since I believe 2012. So you know that it works, and we got a couple hundred people in there.
We need to do multiple things, right? And one of the things I think we need to do is like, and I've been saying this for a while, and the way that I do it, okay, it's a chore to do social media. Gorillas and Guns, I don't know, do you do social media outside of YouTube?
Yeah, I got a Facebook group, and you know, that's really about it. I really don't have a lot of time for much now with the gunsmithing school and working 9-to-5 job, you know. But I'm gonna start gradually going over to some other platforms and trying to open up some more lines of communication there.
Yeah. So there's multiple things going on here. Let's start with this. There's people who have gotten deplatformed across the board. They ran this experiment with Alex Jones and, you know, all that kind of stuff, right? And they canceled him across the board. So it doesn't mean you can't be canceled across the board, but you probably need to get on as many things as you can. You know, and it's really not as difficult as people think. Everything works a little differently. The way that I do it is I have a note on my phone and I write out whatever I'm going to post. I compose that thing, make the photo or whatever, and then I just copy and paste that into everywhere. You know, and I think that's probably the best way to go about it, because you're going to rely on building up one thing and then that's going to get knocked out. If they're going to come at you and knock out everything, okay, my backup to that is you need to have a .com. Obviously, there's sanctuarycounties.com that people could go to. You know, so I think that's a start. The other thing that I've done is there's email lists. I think that's another place you could go to, but they could knock out your .com. You can move it. Someone can refuse to host your email list, you can move it, right? These are all businesses that pro-freedom people need to get into. The other thing after that, I have like a phone number that people can directly communicate with me. I know that doesn't necessarily work for what folks out there are doing. And then I would be looking for the things that are on blockchain, because those tend to be more free and more difficult for them to take down. So Mind, I think, is one of those, and it works great. You could put up links. If let me see, I'll run mine in here. I'm not trying to, you know, super promote mine or whatever. I think I've seen a lot of people going over there and following me on Minds, and it looks like a light bulb. So if you take a look at it here, it looks like a light bulb. You can go in here, like I just posted. This is for this particular thing that we're doing here. I'm at Real Hank Strange on Minds, and you can just flip through there. There's a lot of people. The quartering is on there, you know, and there's other people you could follow, whoever you want to. You could post these links, put up videos, do all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of different things on there, right? And I think that to me is not bad. I found out about Minds because the founder was on Joe Rogan. And he was talking about this kind of stuff, and they were talking about Twitter and the kind of things going on with Twitter. So we saw like Twitter deplatformed. I know everyone already knows this, but Twitter completely banned President Trump when he was 88 million followers on Twitter, approaching 90 million. Okay, so just think about that for a second. And then there's this awesomeness, not really awesomeness, but nonsense that came out from Twitter, and I'm going to share it with everyone right now up on the screen. If you guys could take a look at this. This is from Twitter public policy, and the person who told me about this is actually Jonathan at Arms List. Huh?
I remember seeing this. This is amazing.
Yeah. So Twitter public policy posted on the on 7/30/20. Protecting the open internet is a key objective for Twitter. It's why we exist. There are two key areas to consider. One, avoid entrenching the dominance of the biggest players by protecting competition. 2, focus on how content is discovered and amplified, less on removal alone. Okay, and then Twitter goes on to say, ahead of the this is 2 days ago, ahead of the Ugandan election, we're hearing reports that internet service providers are being ordered to block social media messaging apps. We strongly condemn internet shutdowns. So these people are, you know, it's a game. And I saw Tim Pool saying this today. It's just, they're just evil. They're just going to straight up lie to you, but at the same time beat you and abuse you and kick you in the stomach when you're down, kind of a thing. So
what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander.
Yeah. So I think facing all of this and this has been going on for a long time. And I think back when these guys were having this conversation, this was the direction it was going in. What's amazing, we must not have people who believe in freedom, who believe in the Constitution, or who believe in guns as an example, because that's specifically what we talk about. We probably don't have any rich people who believe that. There's no entrepreneurs out there who believe that, right?
Well, should be. But I was going to say these rich people like, Zuckerberg and Dorsey and whatnot, like they can hire people to do their self-protection for them. So,
yeah.
And they own the platform, so they got freedom of speech too. So, I mean, you know,
my understanding from talking to people that know Zuckerberg is he actually has guns.
Well, what do you know?
Yeah. So he's into it.
Oh, yeah, they're all hypocrites.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there's a lot of people who feel like they're the special ones that can have that stuff and not other people. Or ultimately, maybe he's doing what he's doing because he doesn't want to lose money. Right?
Well, that's a bad plan if you're talking about Facebook and Twitter, because didn't they lose like $51 billion worth of stock price in the past week or so?
That's what I heard. I'm not sure how true that is.
If you type in on Google Twitter stock right now, you can just see
is it
what
dropping?
It's been looking like.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's.
Oh, it's down. It was at like 54 per share, and now it's at like 45.18.
Let's see. Twitter stock. Okay. We're using the Google. I know, the evil machine.
I know.
Evil.
You got to DuckDuckGo it, or maybe.
I know. Too late. Yeah.
Yeah. Look at the 1 month if you can. Look at 1 month out.
Okay, so yeah, I know it was down 1.3%. I guess that's today's thing.
Yeah. Oh, it's down a lot.
Yeah. So the month, it went from 55 down to like somewhere like 45 or something like that. So about $10.
Yeah. I'm curious. To me, like my question was, where the hell are their stockholders? Like, isn't it their job to make money? They're not doing a good job of that right now. Clearly, kicking the president of the United States off your platform isn't a good financial move. Look at that. Oh my gosh.
I think there's a lot of people in America that are still going along with this. I think there's a lot of people in America that don't understand where this is going. What do you guys think?
Well, personally, as I said, I already had 29,000 followers on Parler, and I've heard everybody's making the same argument, like, you tell us to go do our own thing, we go do our own thing, and then you pull that out from under us too. So it's like, what else do you expect us to do? Like, we would have debated you on your own platforms, but you shut that down. So we wanted to go to our own platform so that we could, debate amongst ourselves, if nothing else. Mm-hmm. And you shut that down too. So there's going to be no more debate. Is that the plan? And then what's next?
I would say exactly right.
Right. They only want their information to get out and nobody else's. It's a systematic programming, if you will, of the people of this country. We had a little roundtable discussion a few nights back with John Crump, and we were talking about a civil war. Right now, yes, we're kind of like in the midst of kind of like just a talking civil war, because everybody in the country's bickering back and forth. He said, she said, this group, that group, blah, blah, blah. That's all it is, really, is just blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of what they want. They want us to all be blah, blah, blah. So we will have our attention focused there while they sit there and feed us all this information and constantly repeat themselves over and over and over again until people on a subconscious level are programmed. Even people who don't believe that they're programmed are getting programmed on that subconscious level. So I watched this video where this guy was talking about how this is how the communists usher in communism into a country. They get everybody. They pick a group, like say a minority group, and they keep them down. But they want to offer them all these promises and everything else that they're never going to give them. So that way they get them angry, and then they start fighting against amongst people and amongst themselves. And then we get the governments, and then the censoring and everything else. And then they bring it in under the promise of socialism, but socialism is just communism in disguise, really. So this is what they're doing now that we have this one party majority and all this censoring going on, and the politicians aren't doing anything to speak up against it because they're kind of endorsing it, saying, yeah, that's a good thing, because they're inciting things. Everybody's inciting things right now. That's the mind games they're playing to help program the people into wanting more government, wanting government help, asking the government for this. So the government just keeps growing and growing and growing, and then finally, bam, there you have it. It's a communist nation.
Did you see what they're doing in Florida, potentially, or what they're thinking about doing in Florida to the tech giants?
No.
They're talking about somebody requested that Ron DeSantis divest all money from all Florida's money from
investments.
From any investments in those big, in Apple, Google, Facebook, Twitter, like anyone that was involved in that stuff, they were asking if they can divest from those. And I'm like,
that's interesting.
Isn't that the liberals' move, right? But I mean, I guess we were just talking about good for the goose and the gander. But
well, I mean, if you're gonna fight,
that's kind of like BDS right there.
Well, honestly, if you're gonna fight, you need to fight to win, right? Like you can't fight a fight like, okay, let's go the Marquis of Roxbury rule, whatever the hell. What is that thing called? What is it? Queensberry. Yeah, let's go those rules or whatever. And then the person just pulls out a club and knocks you upside the head, right? Yeah. You need to fight to win. It's like you need to fight like it's a street fight where there are no rules except survive.
Oh, I'm down with that. I'm for it, but I was like, it's in many ways it seems that we are adopting their methods and fighting back with their own. It's like, how do you like it? How'd you like that?
Yeah,
it's not so cool.
Well, if it's cool, if this is what it is to do. Now, of course, they're not going to say it's cool to do. That's what Twitter. That thing we just showed from Twitter. They're like, yeah, that's not cool to do, but we're going to do it though.
Yeah, why are you deplatforming us? That's so mean.
I did not see that news from Florida. I'm glad that you brought it to my attention. What I think it might be a good move for states like Florida and other states looking at what's happening to actually invest in freedom shit. So if I was Florida, I would say, hey, this is, Amazon has all these servers. How come we don't have servers here? And how come we don't go set up servers in Florida and then, let freedom stuff use our servers? How about that? We can make money. This is an opportunity for states like that are more free. I don't want to say Florida's always fighting socialism and communism, like Gorillas and Guns was talking about. But this is an opportunity for those states to become wealthy by doing the right thing, and move away from this nonsense. Maybe, if not, like, actually separate out from the union, separate the finances from the union. Texas. Now, look, if it's hot and humid somewhere, I don't think it's really easy to set up servers.
Yeah. It's a downside.
Yeah, it is. It is a downside, but there's got to be some way to figure it out. And then maybe they can work with guys like, I don't know, should I say it? Elon Musk? Figure it out. We can launch rockets into space, bring them back down, land them. We could probably figure out how to offer, solutions for these kinds of problems on a mass scale and then make the money out of it. And then take care of the people of the state. I think things like this are the new oil, right? We've got states around the country that are very wealthy because of oil and are able to do more for the states and the citizens of that state. And this may be one of the ways that people could do it, but I don't know if anyone's going to...
Well, I would say Dan Bongino's been talking about what basically we have to set up parallel economies. And as you're seeing, from the App Store to, your hosting, like what was it, AR-15, their GoDaddy kicked them out, to your servers that you're on, Amazon Web Service, to, unfortunately, now the ISP level. There was some ISP, I think in Idaho, or I can't remember exactly where, but they're like, yeah, we're going to block Facebook and Twitter because of their censorship. And I'm like, I'm with you, but that's a bad precedent, because what if they do that to us too? So I don't know, but it's almost like we need to build our own damn internet, and it sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway.
By the way, I mean, if I had someone over at the Blaze to talk to me, I would say to them, before Bongino was talking about that, there's this crazy dude with a mohawk that's been saying we need to have our own ecosystem, and everyone's like, are you talking about some tree hugging stuff? What does that mean, our own ecosystem?
Are you saying that somebody called that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ahead of time, maybe a little bit?
I don't know. Some crazy maniac has been running around saying we need to have our own ecosystem, but I don't know what's wrong with that guy.
Someone ought to get on that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Very strange. Very strange.
Yeah. Total nutcase is what I would say. Flying Rich says Dan Bongino rocks.
I like him.
Yeah. I like Dan Bongino too. It's just, I don't know, man. If I was the guy that if I was doing this stuff, I think I would have done it a little bit differently, but I'm not doing it. One of the things that goes on here is that you have to be able to get the ear of the people that are able to do these things. And it's a very difficult situation to do that sometimes, because a lot of these people don't believe stuff until it happens. And I think that they're doing a good thing, right? And kudos to them with Parler. But if they didn't see this coming and they didn't make plans for it, I don't know what to say.
Well, I mean, the writing was already on the wall. I mean, you already saw they did the same exact thing to Gab, and they called them like the place where the Nazis and all the crazy right-wing terrorists or whatever are over there planning all their stuff, and so they deplatformed Gab to begin with. I mean, they had to deal with this, and it's like, guys, you didn't see this coming. Like, they did this thing before. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it was always coming. I think that they just didn't expect to get so caught out. And look, at the end of the day, it's not right. But we're living in a country where lots of stuff that's not right's going on. And I think the likelihood of Parler, even if this goes all the way to the Supreme Court and getting relief, is very low. That's the unfortunate thing. So it's going to take them a lot longer to get to where we're at and realize that. Now, obviously, they're saying, oh, we need to have our own things and do that. So, well, look, I guess it's moving in the right direction. Moving in the right direction there. Well, so
people's eyes are open now.
Maybe. I don't know. James Miller says, absolutely, Hank, you don't host your business or website on the enemy servers. Well, I get why you do it, but you should expect it's coming at you.
Right.
I understand why they did it, but they should. And those guys just easily let them go do it, because they're like, yeah, we can easily pull the plug on them like that. Their lawyers didn't even stand by them. Well, you obviously had the wrong lawyers. You didn't have some lawyers that were patriots. That might be the first thing you want to do.
But you got to be careful, even with lawyers. I mean, everybody can be bought and sold,
True.
When it comes to stuff like that. If there's enough money thrown at them, people get easily tempted by that.
What's wrong with you crazy man? Why are you talking truth and logic and stuff like that?
I didn't even think of that. That's some shady stuff.
But that's what happened to them, right?
Well,
someone made a deal with their lawyers, and their lawyers like, these guys just hired us, so conflict of interest, you're out.
Yep.
That, I didn't even think about that.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's how it goes down.
That's possible.
That's how it goes down. I've seen it happen in the music business and stuff like that before. So, okay, let's see. I think we I don't know if there's any other thoughts on this, or folks out there have any other thoughts. There was one thing I wanted to bring up real quick here. Did you guys hear about the liberal Utah activist that got caught up in the Capitol situation, even though that was supposed to be all Trumpers?
Yep.
You guys?
Oh, it wasn't all Trumpers.
Supposedly, he just followed them in, like trying to wonder, oh, what are these guys doing?
Yeah, he didn't know what he was doing. Those guys just.
But yet on the inside,
while wearing a Trump
this
hat.
guy's been protesting everywhere and causing trouble, by the way.
Right.
But
yet
yet
on
with the Trump
inside,
hat, right?
He was overheard saying, "Let's burn it all down. Let's burn it down."
He did it.
Yeah.
No, it was just those Trumpers out there.
Yeah. So here's the headline: Utah activist who filmed Capitol shooting booked into jail. A Utah activist who filmed the fatal shooting of a California Trump supporter during the insurrection at the U.S. Capitol last week was arrested Thursday, according to authorities. John Sullivan, a self-described journalist and liberal activist, released footage to the FBI that showed him entering the Capitol on January 6th, roaming the building. According to arrest documents, he was charged with civil disorder, violent entry, or disorderly conduct, and entering a restricted building or grounds. And then his footage also included when the Air Force veteran Ashley Babbitt of San Diego was shot by Capitol Police. In one video, Sullivan can be heard cheering on the crowd as they broke through the final barricade before the Capitol and saying, "We did this together. We are all part of history." In at least two encounters, Sullivan can be heard telling officers to stand down so they don't get hurt and saying the people have spoken. Well, and then there's a lot of articles I saw on this saying this is the only one. They're like, oh, these guys are going to, the guys on the right are going to say, oh, see, we told you Antifa got in here or whatever, and this is the only person. That's not true. There's more people who did this. And I challenge anyone to look at the footage of the Trump rally and who were the people there at the Trump rally, and then look at what happened when everything went wrong. The people at the Trump, how do you think that at the Trump rally, the Secret Service would allow a whole bunch of people there with masks on, in terms of like people who were trying to definitely like geared up to go fight something and all that? Why do you think they would allow that? It didn't happen. Then everything flipped around and you could see all the guys up front came there ready for something. And of course their whole plan was to get the Trumpers involved in all this and push them out there and then do these things. And this is not going to be the only guy like that in this situation. So
that's why you can't be going to them rallies on Inauguration Day. It's just we've already seen they want to trap us. It's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. You get a few people to go into the crowd to instigate the crowd. Because the mob mentality really takes over people when something happens and your adrenaline starts pumping. You don't really tend to think too well at those points, and then these people are pushing through, and you think that they're part of you or they're with you. So all of a sudden you're caught up in the moment and you do the same thing. And that's how they get a lot of these things to start, all these riots and things like that to start. It only takes a few instigators. A person by themselves usually is pretty smart and can have logic and some reasoning, but you get a mass of people together and they're a bunch of dumb animals.
Also, if you got people basically herding you in there from behind, like where else are you going to go? You're in it.
Yeah.
You were dumb enough to get up front and now you're in it.
Yeah. When I spoke to someone who was up there, he was sending me pictures and video through that whole thing. The beginning was not what happened in the end. And when he was out there with his family. So when he realized what was going on, he got out of there, you know, and that's what a lot of people did. And yes, they are, without a doubt, there's going to be some, I get it, right? And I, for the most part, don't have a problem with those people doing things except, starting the violence, breaking things, burning stuff, like whatever went wrong there. I'm not necessarily with that. I'm not saying there's not a time for that. I don't think this was the time. I think this was just people being manipulated and manipulated to a great end, because it's not accidental that this happened when Trump did this thing. And it's also not accidental that all these people on the right like flipped on him. Go ahead.
So what's the best way to hide something?
Right out in the open.
Right.
Yeah.
So how much you want to bet that guy gets let go because of COVID?
There's a lot of people that's involved here if they really do something, but you can tell, you can look when you saw all those guys out there with I'm not talking about masks like COVID masks. I'm talking about people that were out there with frickin' the V from Vendetta mask, the Guy Fawkes masks and all that kind of stuff, right? Those guys came there to do that, and then all these corporations were already ready to go after people. The funny thing is, last year when cities and stuff like that were getting burned down, all the corporations were saying Black Lives Matter. We're with you, right? now they've kind of flipped that, so I think a lot of people see this, you know, um, yeah, as Lola just said, hypocrisy. Yeah.
They jump on the bandwagon because they're like, oh yeah, well this is the thing that's happening right now, and they're really truly making people believe that it's a great movement for a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's jump on that bandwagon so we can exploit it and make money off of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Okay, so let me ask sanctuary counties. You're here. We've got Gorillas and Guns here as well, obviously. What would you like to talk about? I know there's been a lot of things going on with you. We'll switch around here. Since it's Friday, whole bunch of stuff going on out there. What is the major stuff you would like us to know since the last time you were here? I know I've got a bunch of articles in front of me here.
Sure. Well, the first thing is that we just published our most recent Second Amendment sanctuary counties map for January 15th, 2021. So I had to check my calendar because
I'm throwing that up right now. That's on the screen right now as you're speaking.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And so one thing I would point out is that, and I made a note of this in the article, is that one of the biggest impediments to this, and I call it a movement. It is a movement. I mean, it moved across 1/3 of the country, which that's a fact that a lot of people don't know.
Mm-hmm.
If anybody knows Cam Edwards, please inform him that we're over 1,100 counties now, and he seems to think it's like 400. So the biggest impediment to this movement was these COVID lockdowns, because, and as I mentioned to you, and I sent you, I believe, a link to another article. Back when we were meeting in person, we were bringing thousands of people to the party, basically. And I don't know if you've ever been to a Board of Supervisors meeting, but they don't know what it's like to see 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people outside the building. They're not used to that. So if you want to let them know, hey, we actually mean this. It's time to start going back to these board meetings and putting some pressure on. Another thing that I noted this in the article, they are taking the Second Amendment sanctuary movement and they are adapting it. So I don't know. And I see you have the article up. You guys should check that out. That link right there. I don't know if you put it out, but
here, I'll throw it. I'll put it in the. I'm going to put it in the chat right now for folks out there. And I would encourage everyone. We've got over 100 people hanging out with us right now in the chat. Smash those thumbs ups, guys. That's going to help us fight this algorithm that we're all dealing with, including us here. So lots of people watching, hopefully enjoying. If you're hating, smash the thumbs downs. Little secret that helps us too. But I just shared that up there.
Thanks. I wanted to show you guys that. I wanted to give you guys an example because I think we might have, because they've been shutting down all these groups and people have lost their photos. They don't have them anymore. But I think what's being lost is the fact that these were massive turnouts. It was bonkers. You had county courtrooms packed. You had gymnasiums packed. You had parking lots packed. In my county, the entire parking lot was packed. We had over 1,500 people, I think, close to 1,500. And one of the benefits of that is that you go out there, you got all these people there. Guess when is a great time to get people registered to vote? Guess when's a great time to get petitions signed? You want to, recall somebody, maybe a governor. Now's a good time to get that signed. You can actually get people activated at these meetings. And so I really think that it's time for people to get back into these boardroom meetings. And as I was talking about earlier, if they can, if Cuomo's going to start talking about opening New York back up, if the Chicago, if Chicago's going to start talking about bringing the teachers back in classes, we need to get back into these meetings. We let it fall. Partly because of the COVID lockdowns, the social distancing, and max occupancy restrictions, but also because they went to Zoom meetings and stuff, and it's hard to go there and speak and actually show them. If you don't see 1,000 people waiting outside your Zoom call, it's just a different it's a different thing. And before you hey, I see you got that. I'm
working it right now.
Yeah, no, I just submitted
I'm rocking and rolling here.
the other day in the Minutemen Speakeasy group on Facebook, it's still there, unfortunately, but Daniel Horowitz, that's his private group there, and he put out the call, hey, let's start finding these constitutional sanctuaries. And this is something that I was alluding to a minute ago. The fact is that people have found out about Second Amendment sanctuaries, and they're like, hey, remember how we did that one thing with the 2A? Why don't we do it with these COVID lockdowns? Why don't we, why don't we do it for these mask mandates? Why don't we do it for, for our businesses being shut down? And they're starting to pass something called constitutional sanctuaries. So Daniel Horowitz from The Blaze, he actually wrote an article not too long ago about it. It was yesterday. He published it, and he actually linked to our website, which was awesome.
Yeah, I'm going to throw that up there right now.
Yeah. And he's calling for an increase in or growth of the constitutional sanctuary movement, basically the same as the Second Amendment sanctuary, but for the entire Constitution. Because, I mean, back when we started this for 2A, we were worried about them, trampling on our Second Amendment rights. Well, what rights haven't they trampled on since this whole thing started, right? And so now he's like, no, we need to protect the entire Constitution at this point. The entire Bill of Rights, because they've taken it, like, it's ridiculous. And then another thing that I wanted to point out is so they've been passing these sanctuaries for the Constitution, so constitutional sanctuaries. They've also been passing sanctuaries for businesses, so sanctuary for business, sanctuary for what was it, health mandates. The Kenai Peninsula Borough, Alaska, or Kenai, I think it is, Peninsula Borough, Alaska, they passed a resolution basically saying that you cannot be forced to take a COVID vaccine if you don't want to. So I'm calling it a COVID vaccine sanctuary. They didn't actually call it that, but that's what I'm calling it. You see, what was it, Baraga County, Michigan, and Delta County, Michigan just passed what are being termed COVID-19 sanctuary resolutions. I think one of them was just a manifesto. They actually called it a manifesto, which I don't know if that's a good term for it, but hey, that's what they called it. And then also Monument, Colorado just passed a COVID-19 sanctuary. And I mean, it's nuts. It's blowing up. And sanctuaries for the unborn. That's another one. There's 2 counties, I believe, in Texas and 17 cities in Texas that have passed sanctuaries for the unborn, as well as a county now in Florida, I think Santa Rosa County. And so they're taking these sanctuaries and they're like adapting them to different topics, different issues of importance to conservatives. And so that's my goal, is to continue pushing this movement. I do this in my spare time. I mean, I have a job, sanctuarycounties.com is not my job. And so, I'm trying to get the word out there and get people back into this, because what I remember was back in like 2019, we had, we were rolling thousands deep to these meetings and we were telling them what we wanted. And I'm like, now we're in COVID and, it's even worse. And you're meekly wearing your mask into the supermarket. No, I don't do that. And I don't expect anybody, I don't expect anybody else to do it. And then the one other thing that I wanted to say is, and one of those links that you shared, it said it may just be a symbolic gesture, but it's a pretty damn big one. The thing about that is, the reason that I called it that is because I've watched probably 100, maybe more, of these county boardroom meetings, and mind you, they are pretty boring. I'm doing the hard work for you guys. Trust me, you don't want to watch them. But yeah. But
it's how these guys get over on us and do a lot of stuff to us locally because we don't want to watch the sausage getting made. Yeah.
Right. And plus we have jobs, got stuff to do, especially. And that's one of the things, that was one of the sneaky things. They would start doing these, if they didn't want people to show up and pressure them, they would do them during the day when everybody's at work. I remember that. Right. I remember them doing sneaky stuff. But anyway, I've been watching these things, and when they're doing the debate, because they'll debate these resolutions, and they'll have public comments, and then they'll start debating it between the commissioners or supervisors, whatever they call them in your municipality. They will debate these, and one of the main things that they constantly say is, well, it's just a symbolic gesture. It doesn't really mean anything. It's just more, it's like a proclamation of support. It's not like a big deal. It doesn't have any teeth. And my argument to that is, well, if liberals can have a sanctuary city for illegal immigrants, mind you, I'm a child of an illegal immigrant. I don't want to get too much into that, but I am an American citizen. I served in the military. But if they can have sanctuary cities for illegal immigrants, if they can have cities where they just don't follow federal drug laws, if they can have that and have it stick, if it has teeth in their counties and their cities, why the hell does it not stick? Why the hell does it not have teeth in our counties?
It should.
And I'm sick of that argument. I'm sick of it. And if it doesn't have teeth, if it's not going to stick, then damn it, get back in there and pass something that does. So if you're in a two-way sanctuary resolution county, if you're in a county that has a resolution and they say that it doesn't have any teeth, well, get back in there and pass an ordinance. Pass something that has some teeth, because they don't have a problem with it. They don't have a problem doing that, and they will stand behind it, and they will hide them illegal immigrants from any federal officers trying to.
Yeah, they don't just pass this stuff. They actively enforce what they're passing. And what I mean by that is by, like what you're saying right now, they refuse to cooperate with ICE, and they do all kinds of different things, and we have to do the same thing. I see that there were some people, I don't know if they're trolling us or not. If you're trolling us, welcome. We appreciate all of that. Smash the thumbs ups right now. Let's see. We've got a lot of people here. If we get like 34 thumbs ups right now, 36, we'll get to 100. But guess what? I would love to see 100 thumbs downs also. Go ahead and do what you want to do. But people want to know, like, hey, what are we actually doing about this stuff? So one, we're here and we're talking to people, helping people keep their spirits up instead of getting, like, the reason why you see, for example, a lot of people going around trolling people, they're trying to incite us to do things so we can set our own selves up, right? The reason why they're doing that is to take our voice away. The reason why they want to take our voice away is so that we don't form a community. We're here to form a community and talk to folks, and then also keep them aware of all this information. There's people out there like Noah at Sanctuary Counties fighting for this stuff and putting his time into it, and it's one of the things that we could do. And a lot of this, with all of this stuff going on, we could fight a lot of this at home, locally. We can create these counties, make sure that there's people in place and they're actively pushing back on this, so these guys could do whatever nonsense they want. We could be able to insulate ourselves locally from them, and then they could just burn themselves down or eat themselves alive or whatever it is they're going to do, and then we'll just pick up the pieces. That's the best way to fight your enemy, right? You don't fight them head on, and you don't let them, like someone was talking about the art of war, right? Sun Tzu. It's not necessary to do that, So that's what we're doing here, and Sanctuary Counties is a resource, and that's why I've asked him to come on, and you guys can support him. You can look up and see if your counties are there. You can help get your county there if it's not there. I think you're saying that there's states going into this now, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry. I totally forgot about that. Yes, I think I didn't share the link. You can Bing it. Don't Google it no more. But
now I got to go to DuckDuckGo or something like that.
Yeah, you DuckDuckGo it. I wish they had a shorter name. That's so long. Yeah. Too many syllables. But
what is it? DDG? I don't know.
Yeah. Was that? Oh, that's a destroyer, guided missile destroyer, DDG.
Yeah.
I think Texas is talking about passing a two-way sanctuary state legislation. Also, it's been a while, though I haven't heard about it, any updates on it recently, but Tennessee was looking to pass a two-way sanctuary resolution. I guess it passed their House, and that's the last I saw of it. But I was recently contacted by somebody who's working with the state legislature in New Hampshire, and they are asking me for they were asking me for if I had examples of any kind of laws or ordinances or resolutions from other states, and so I have them on my website, and I also linked them to the Tennessee one, and also I sent them the link to my resolutions page. So it's sanctuarycounties.com/resolutions. Yeah. And I sent them all that. So, and I asked them if it's okay if I could.
You're also on Wikipedia. Well, or Second Amendment sanctuaries is something on Wikipedia. And there's a map there. Is that your map that's on Wikipedia, or?
No, that map is woefully out of date.
Okay.
I have spoken to the people who were managing that, and fun fact, There was some, if you look in the histories, I don't know if you look in if you ever check out the history, but there was some liberal like professor, like I don't know, anti-gun professor or whatever, and he completely gutted that page.
Okay.
Like they were going on a war in the back of Wikipedia,
Okay.
and like he took out the whole thing. He was like, "Oh, this is just a list of links. This is not like worthy of being on Wikipedia." And I'm like,
Okay.
okay, but that's not. I'm not updating that. But I will say, if you look in the citations, they cited my website like probably 150 to 200 times.
Okay.
I don't know, but
I'll
yeah,
throw up your website there again for folks who are interested in what it is. It's basically, and people always asking me this, is sanctuarycounties.com.
.com.
Yeah, and all these articles we're talking about and all this information is up there. I think there's ways that people can reach out to you, right?
Yeah, contact at sanctuarycounties.com.
Mm-hmm.
I like I said, I basically this is I do it in my spare time. It's become, my passion, my mission. And I'm trying to let people know, because one of the worst things about it is we ran into this COVID nonsense and people forgot. They forgot they had things like, food, education for my children, things, big things to worry about. And my freedoms just kind of fell on the back burner for some reason. But this is happening still. It's slowed down. COVID really slowed it down. But we need to get back in the fight, because, I mean, we just lost like two branches of the government. At least we still sort of had the Supreme Court, except they were kind of a bunch of pushovers apparently.
Yeah,
But
I don't know if we really have them. I think they've compromised at least Roberts.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
But and here's something that I tell people as well. I don't really control what Donald Trump does. I can't control what Congress does. I don't really have a whole lot of say in what my state legislature or governor does. But I can take my ass down to the county court, and I can get in front of I get up to the podium and tell people what I want, and tell them that I demand that they support our rights, and and bring a couple thousand people with me and have them all say the same thing. So I talk about spheres of influence. You can't really control things at the federal level. You would like to. Maybe you can fire off an email to your senator. That's great. But you can actually stand in front of your board of supervisors and tell them stuff. You can do the same thing with your city council. You can actually reach these people, and you know what? You can call your sheriff. You can go to his office. Yep. You can talk to him, because a lot of these places have been passing them. The sheriff's just been passing them because they are constitutional officers. They are elected officials. And if they want to remain elected officials, then they'll probably want to support their constituents. Basically, we are their constituents.
And if you have a couple of thousand people, you could take over your town. You could become the mayor, the sheriff. You can do all. You could set it right.
Yeah,
you can get those idiots out of there if they're not doing the right thing. By the way, Firearms Fanatic, shout out to him. He wants to know if we discussed the NRA announcing bankruptcy. Yes, we did. It's in the beginning, so you'd have to scroll back and go back to that in order to see that particular thing. But you can do something. I think I agree with exactly what Noah's saying here. There are things, and a lot of things, that you can do to lock down where you live and the people around you and what you guys are doing to this thing. So, I mean, if other than that, if you're ready to go rock and roll and do something, go on with your bad self. I mean, if I think, and I see people out there trying to push that point, but if you're so badass, like, what are you doing over here being a keyboard warrior?
Exactly.
That's my point that I would make to you. If you know what to do, go ahead on and do it. We're going to fight certain battles here, and we could fight on certain levels here, and we will do other things elsewhere. And a lot of they can cut off stuff here. They cannot stop us from talking to each other and actually communicating with each other. And that's what we're doing here, but we can do it in other places. And the best place is in person, where you can actually do things about this. There is this feeling like everything that happens in DC or what's happening in the White House is everything in life. It's not.
No,
it's not that. Let me go to Gorillas and Guns here for a second. Did you have any comments about any of this stuff? You want to ask Noah anything here?
Yeah, I was going to ask him, but he kind of clarified that with the whole ordinance thing, because it was the resolutions that they were saying weren't having teeth. But then I was like, yeah, well, it's the ordinance is really where it sinks in and it holds ground a lot better. Um, I want to say, I think it was New Mexico that was the very first state to declare themselves a 2A sanctuary. I think they were the ones that kind of brought the whole thing out of nowhere. And I remember a couple of years ago when Virginia turned and, they were trying to push all this gun control, and everybody in the VCDL group was like, oh, what do we do? What do we do? What do we do? I was like, well, why don't we do like what New Mexico did? Let's set up some 2A sanctuaries. We could do counties, because I know we're not going to be able to get the whole state, because there are certain areas in Virginia that just won't go that route, and we seen that, and I was the first one here in Hanover to just start shoveling emails over to the sheriff, the board of supervisors, and get that all going. And then I just kept on announcing, hey, can I get some more people in Hanover to start firing off emails, and let's push this so we can get it. Hanover was kind of a shoe-in for the 2A sanctuary resolution anyway, because our sheriff's very pro 2A. What was it? 85% of the board of supervisors are pro 2A, so they all voted yes. We had one no vote and one person who wasn't there. They were either sick or on vacation. I can't remember what it was, but a lot of people after that no vote came up, they went after that lady and were pushing on her like, hey, this is our county, this is our rights that you're talking about here. We have every right to do this. So just because you say no doesn't mean that everybody here is behind you. I'm just like, well, that lady just lost her job come her next election. So
yeah.
Especially in this county here, it's a huge 2A county. Now, the only ordinance we have for gun laws or gun rules ordinances in this county is no hunting with rifles. So they just want shotgun, because it's kind of there's not a wide enough spread area for rifle hunting.
Okay.
They just worry about stray bullets. So, and that's really the only ordinance we have when it comes to firearms. I mean, I shoot in my backyard. I got no problems. I've had the sheriffs called on me before for shooting back there. They came in and they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? Hey, I see you got a berm. You're being safe, And then we just kind of bullshitted for a few minutes, and then they said, all right, have a good day. See ya. And we all went back to shooting, So.
Okay. So did you want to add something to that, Noah? Or I guess Gorilla was saying that you already answered that.
Yeah, well, just to kind of, he was talking about ordinances a little bit, and what I would say is you're going to get some pushback from your board members a bit if you try to do that. And this is one of the reasons that I created the page. Back when we first started, we were all in these groups, and people were sharing this information, but it was in a private group. And you see how every time like somebody shares a board meeting or something, it's like, hey, how do I get this out of here? Like I got to share it. Like, how do I get it out? And that's kind of why I built the website, because I was trying to make it so you could put information in a place where people can like easily email it to their board members or email it to their sheriff or their family members or their friends at the gun shop or whatever. But one thing I would say is if you go to the resolutions page, and I should honestly, I need to make an ordinances page. There you can look through there and see all the different resolutions and ordinances. I tag every ordinance with the resolution tag as well, just so it shows up on one combined page. But one point I want to make is that if you can get ordinance, a Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance passed in Oregon, like, why can't you get it passed in Virginia?
Right.
Why can't you get it passed in your neck of the woods? If they get, if they can pass ordinances all the way, all across, a lot of places have been passing ordinances. I can't really pronounce the name of this county. I think it's Kosciuszko County. It's in Indiana. I actually spoke to their county attorney, and he told me that he used my website as a resource to craft the resolution and ordinance for his county.
Okay.
And so they actually passed a resolution, and then they followed it up with an ordinance, and the ordinance basically accepted all the whereas clauses of the resolution and then added to that saying, hey, we're going to go even further. We're going to reevaluate every single policy, every single procedure, every single resolution and ordinance in our entire county code, basically, and make sure that none of those things infringes upon any of our constitutional rights. They are now a constitutional rights sanctuary, and they have an ordinance to back it up. So, I mean, go on the website and type in the word ordinance and see what comes up, and get you, like, if you're in a 2A sanctuary resolution county, you need to be a 2A sanctuary ordinance county, because one of the first things that was on Biden's docket there is coming for your guns. So if you don't care that he's taking away your guns and making you a felon for having a firearm with more than 10-round magazine, well, then don't do anything. Sit on your butt and don't get involved. But if you do want to protect your rights, then I say go on the website. It's a resource. Use it and go talk to your county supervisors, your city council, your sheriff, and let them know that this is a thing that you want to do.
Hey, let me ask you this. On your website, do you have like I guess you would call it like a generic type letter that people could copy and paste, kind of like the VCDL does and GOA does? Because some people just aren't, they aren't writers, and they can't think of like the right words to put together to fire off to in an email, or they might get a little too emotional about it and start, ranting and raving or whatever. So do you have something like that up there that people can use as a guide?
I will tell you that I had the exact same idea like a day or so ago, but I'm glad you hit on that, because that is actually, what I was thinking about is, how VCDL, they have like a tool where you can just say, hey, I live in this district, and it will fire off this this letter. I was like, is there a plugin from my website that I could get to do that? But if for nothing else, I think I'll do what you said and create like a letter, a standard letter that you can at least copy and paste, and it'll have some links in it. That's a really good idea, and I'm going to do that.
Okay.
I don't yet, but that's a thing that needs to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it'd just be helpful for people, because a lot of people, like I said, just maybe not good writers, maybe can't think of the right things to say or whatever. So if they have something to go by, where they, you can and insert your name here, in this county, insert your county name or city name or whatever it is here, just forward it on, and helping with like links to their board of supervisors, their mayors, sheriffs and whatnot, so that way they can easily find a way to send those emails as well. That would be very helpful, I think, too.
Yeah. So just in case you guys have been wondering why I've been so quiet and letting other people talk for less. No, so Check Your Six is complaining that I'm not on MeWe, and I cannot be on every single thing that pops up. But I just went and created a MeWe for you, Check Your Six. So there you go. Here, I'll share it. It's Hank Strange. Boom. There you go. If anyone's on MeWe and they want to go jump on there right now, go ahead and do it. I'm Hank Strange on there, and literally no one following me or anything like that. But it's there. I got it up there. Really all these things is as easy as just signing up. And then I'm just going to put that in my list of things. Like I said to you guys in the beginning of this, I'm just going to copy and paste everything and put it over there. So yeah, I know everyone's been telling me to jump on MeWe. I'm on a whole bunch of different things. And there's constantly going to be, I guarantee you right now, we're going to see like 100 new platforms spring up. And it's actually all good. I hope there's a bunch of them. There's competition. They get better and we find one. But just bear in mind that even those places could get cut off and, or kick people off or whatever. So Check Your Six. Go follow me on there. I'll follow you back or whatever. That's what I'm trying to do on all these things when people are doing that. Okay, I'm sorry. I interrupted you guys. So where were we here?
I just shared a link, by the way.
Okay.
This was something that I wrote back in 2019, December 2019. It was about a year ago. And I everything that I've done with this website is to make it so that other people could do the things that we did in our county. And I don't know, probably Guns and Gorillas over there, or Gorillas and Guns. I don't know if you remember me, but I was basically asking everybody in the VCDL chat and the Virginia for 2A Sanctuaries group. I was like, hey, how did you do this in your county? What steps did you take? Like, if I was to do this in my county, how do we go about it? And I was doing that for a reason, because I wanted to write down the steps that they took in order to become a sanctuary county. And I wrote a lot of those steps down. Some of them are, a little harder to do now that Facebook has started deplatforming all of us. But I wrote those things down because I wanted it to make it like a roadmap for other people to do it. And I put like the titles of people that you need to reach out to. Like I took, like talk to your sheriff, talk to your county attorney. Like you can take a resolution to your county attorney and see if they'll actually, run with it. You can talk to your sheriff. Like, sheriff is a great place to start. Our sheriff was totally on board. He actually spoke at the board meeting, and he's like, yeah, they ain't taking your guns in our county. They had sheriffs in, I believe, Culpeper County. I think it was Culpeper. It was like, you know what? If they do this, I'm basically deputizing all y'all, and you're keeping your guns. That's how this is going to go down. And he actually started it. He was like putting the call out for people to like start vetting candidates to be deputized. Like, you don't want crazies running around deputized, but he's like, yeah, well, that's what we'll do. In Tazewell County, they freaking, they basically passed a resolution and they called for a militia over there. They're not messing around. I think that's another thing that people don't understand is like these guys, like I was there at the board meetings and during the public comments portion of the meeting, and these guys are not messing around. Some of them old Virginia boys, they do not play. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gorillas and Guns.
Yeah, I remember showing up for the board meeting here in Hanover. Our sheriff was here as well. He made a big speech, and there I got there early, and I couldn't even get in the building.
Right.
The people were already packed in there. They're like, yeah, there's no room in there. They weren't letting any more people in, but there was a lot of people there. I was very proud to see all those people show up in support of it, and it was very overwhelming to see this at first and think, well, wow, we got something going here.
Right.
And this is good. It's really good, and hopefully. And it did. It started to spread like wildfire after the first handful of counties did it. Got 90% of Virginia now are 2A sanctuary counties. A lot of them are now ordinances because they went back after it after the whole, like he was talking about. They were saying, "Oh, resolutions don't hold teeth" or whatever. So a lot of people went back and voted to become ordinances. Here in my county, I didn't really follow up too much with it, but because the sheriff and most of the board of supervisors, all of them are really pro 2A, they were like, yeah, we don't need an ordinance because we're just going to follow along with the resolution anyway because we don't believe that your rights should be infringed upon. So, but I think, within the coming months, I think maybe I'll start firing off some emails here to get them to create that ordinance because of the upcoming federal level.
Yeah, we want to spend a lot of time getting back up on it. Real quick, I'm gonna Heather Strupp wants to know if I'm on Gab. I am on Gab. I really haven't put up things there yet. I know it's tough because everyone's going on there and it's not officially an app and all that, but I am on it, and as they get that developed, I'll start putting more stuff up on there. So
Same.
Yeah.
Same.
We do need to get back. I mean, at some point here, like we're talking about doing all this stuff, and you were talking about how COVID kind of cut it short. Now, obviously, these guys magically in places like New York, and you're going to see California soon, like, oh, we don't really need all these COVID restrictions anymore.
No.
No, so
back.
yeah,
All
it's time to get back out there and actually start meeting with each other. I think that's going to become really, really important, and I'm trying to make steps. To make sure that I can get out there and actually meet with people and even just be moving around more and doing more stuff. So
I would say that, not to cut you off, but Gorillas and Guns was mentioning this earlier. I think especially like as he was saying, the county was basically, the leadership was saying, oh, we're not going to do any of those things that they're talking about anyway. So we're fine with the resolution. And I think to me, and I've written this before on my website, that there's a bit of a complacency issue there, because if you just assume that you're going to be fine and that, it can never happen to you, and that, no, we're good conservatives around here. We love our Second Amendment. You get this sense of complacency, and then next thing you know, they do something like what they did. And Virginia, like, I feel like we got caught with our pants down. Like, nobody ever thought it would happen. Like, wasn't like the NRA over there, why is this happening in Virginia? It doesn't make any sense. And so that's another reason why in states that like Alaska, what are you going to do? But like There's states that have passed these laws at the state level.
Mm-hmm.
I still think there's value in passing it at your county level as well. Not only because you are basically showing. So, for example, in Virginia, as he was mentioning, we're over 90% now of the counties in Virginia are now Second Amendment sanctuaries, and that is kind of a big red flag to the Democrats that are trying to push these gun laws. It's like, oh, wait a second, there's some houses that we might not want to lose. It looks like there's a lot of support for these, for not putting these gun laws in. So there's, it's kind of a way to show the people in the state legislature that, hey, we're not messing around. We don't want that here. And then another reason that, another thing that to keep in mind here is that, especially as we're moving into things like constitutional sanctuaries or anti-COVID-19 lockdown sanctuaries and things of that sort, one of the things that have been threatened in the past is we're going to take away your funding. Maybe that road project that you're wanting to do next fiscal, we're going to cut that. If you don't bow down to our demands at the state level, and that's where I think we need to have more counties involved. We need everybody to go in, like where we go one, we go all, so they say. Because if you got that one county, like right now, Campbell County, Virginia, who's the only one that I know of that has passed a First Amendment sanctuary in defiance of Governor Northam's lockdown orders, if you let that one county dangle with his ass in the breeze out there by himself, that one county is susceptible to being crushed because, you're just that outlier. You're that nail that's sticking out and you're going to get hammered, right? But if we're all doing it, well, what are you going to not fund the entire state? Is that what you're going to do? No, I don't think they're going to do that. So, and in Virginia, like when we went 2A, we went nuts. It went fast. And so it's like, what are you going to do? We can't, hammer all of them. Like, so I think like if you got somebody leading the charge, you need to get behind them and you need to follow in their footsteps and really get with it.
Yeah. I could tell you one thing, man. I think you're really pushing button on a lot of folks out there. I notice we've got like extra trolls in here, which is awesome. I think that's awesome. I would like everyone out there right now that's with us to smash the thumbs ups. That's for the trolls. The trolls, you can hit the thumbs downs. It's all good, man. We appreciate it. It all does. We enjoy you guys coming in here. You're helping us out with the algorithm. And I know that there are folks also coming in here and finding us and enjoying the conversation and getting the info. We're talking to Gorillas and Guns, and we're also talking to Noah of 2A Sanctuaries. I'm going to take a second here just to point you guys in these guys' directions. So if you go here, I'll share my screen. If you want to support Gorillas and Guns, and I encourage you to do that. Here's his YouTube channel, right? That's the best way, right, G&G?
Yeah, YouTube, Patreon.
There you go. There you go. So Gorillas and Guns, there's the YouTube, and lots of cool videos going on up there. He's in Virginia. He's fighting all the time in Virginia along with the other folks there for the Second Amendment, for the Constitution. What's your Patreon?
It's patreon.com/GorillasGuns, something like that.
Okay. All right, cool. And then for you, Noah, what's the best place for people to go to? I'm assuming it's the .com, and I'll put that up. But what else can they do to support you out there?
So there is a link on our page that it's like donate or whatever, and there's just to be some links on the sidebar to our Patreon.
Okay.
So that's basically the best way. But to me, just so you know, I'm not doing this for money. I make a decent amount of money as it is. And as far as, there's some ads on the page, but that, I don't know if you know about web advertising, but I'm making like maybe $1,
Right.
on these ads.
I make a couple of cents on my .com, whatever.
Yeah.
Google is always citing me for some violation. That's what I see most of the time. Yeah.
I was hoping to just at first, like I felt icky, putting ads on it because I didn't want people to think that I'm trying to, make money off of this because I'm not. But I was like, well, maybe this could help me, pay for better servers, pay for maybe get somebody to help me with some graphic design or something like that. So I put those on there. But as far as the Patreon, I got a couple of different levels if you want to put that on there. That's about it.
I don't think anyone should feel bad. I don't think you should feel bad. I don't think that Gorillas and Guns or even myself. Look, at the end of the day, what we're doing here, we could do other things. We could put our time and our energy in other directions and make a lot of money, and then not be harassed, not be bothered, not go through all the things that people have to go through. It helps when people are out there supporting you, right? And when you have to sit there every day as a human being and think, okay, what am I going to do here? Am I going to do this even though it's a lot tougher, or am I just going to go for the money? And I think there are folks out there who understand and appreciate that, and then they decide that they want to support you so that you can keep doing what you're doing, because a lot of people are just going to their jobs every day. So for the trolls out there, or for the people like, oh, what are you going to do, my answer to you is, if you're getting up every day and going to work, well, then you ask yourself that question. Look in the mirror. If you're in your mom's basement smashing on the keyboards or whatever, same thing. I appreciate that you guys are doing it, that you're specifically doing a Second Amendment, the sanctuary counties thing, and I think it helps for people to help fund it. Things, like, if we're going to really just be stuck here and not able to fund these things, we're never going to get over the bump or the hill or the mountain of these guys that have billions of dollars to pour into the other side of this equation.
Yeah.
That's what happened with our elections. I think a lot of it was, Bloomberg money pouring into these local races. And it's like, how do you compete with somebody who has $2 million in funding from like Moms and Man or whatever, every town? And so, I'm fighting back with my free time and my knowledge. I built the website myself, it's just a thing I know how to do. So I decided to do it. I should work harder on the Patreon. I haven't really looked at it for a while.
But I'm just saying, don't feel guilty. I don't think there should be a guilt equation for people, not you, or not for someone like Gorillas and Guns who's out there trying to make an effort to help folks out with what he's doing, right? I don't think there should be a guilt equation involved here when you're doing it. But I understand where it comes from, right? We all go through that. Just remember, everyone makes a choice of what they're going to do with their time. This is the powerful thing about the world. Regardless of how wealthy you were born, where you are, all of that kind of stuff, male, female, whatever, right? We all have the same amount of time within that time. Now, some of us have been here longer. Some of us are not going to be here that much longer. All those kinds of things differ. But in any given 24 hours, any human being that's alive has 24 hours to do stuff with it. Okay? It's what people choose to do out of that. Looks like you want to say something here?
Yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments in the side chat. And James O'Brien says he likes the GOA better, but still doesn't think they're strong enough. Well, if you want to make the GOA stronger, talk to everybody that's a gun owner. Introduce them to the GOA. Show them what they're doing. Show them that are actually doing things, and tell them how to become a member. It's not very expensive to become a member of the GOA, and you don't have to constantly shovel money their way. Just become a member once. Every little bit helps. Hank, I'm sure, has a link to the GOA, a partner link. I have a partner link to the GOA. Spread the word. That's how you can make them.
It's in our description. I'm also a lifetime member.
Yep.
So,
right.
And I try to do as much as I could do to help them. Let's understand this about GOA specifically. They don't have a lot of money.
No.
So this is where the strength comes from, but also trust. The NRA has more money, and I saw that James said that he doesn't like NRA, and I agree with him. But the problem is that there's 5 million folks out there giving the NRA money still. Okay, and so they really have the strength. Whether we like this or not, the way to fight back with things starts with money. That's the conversation we were just having, right? So GOA can't do that unless they can get the money out there to do it. But I know that they're out there, they're trying, they're working their hardest with the resources that they have. They had people on the ground in Georgia going door to door, knocking on doors and trying to get things out there. And we did what we can do in our part to help out. A big part of this whole debacle in Georgia is that there just wasn't money on this side to fight back against these guys. And then there was also apathy on this side in terms of people getting out there. Even in Georgia, there was apathy on that. But there were folks out there doing what they could do to this. We can't do this alone, and we can't do this unfunded. We can't do it without spending money. It's just what it takes. It's the same conversation that we're having about the platforms out there. How are people going to going to have an alternative without the money.
Yep. See, right now their strength comes in from them putting in the work, because they definitely put in the work, and they're not shy about putting in the work, and they like putting in the work, but not enough people know about the Gun Owners of America, the GOA. So if you know about them, you remember, spread the word, get other people on board. That's where it's really going to help.
Yeah.
Because like I said, those little dollars that you give them every year, that stuff all adds up and goes towards the work that they are putting in. And it will help them with that work and make it a little bit easier for them to do what they're trying to do.
Yeah, and if we're fighting, I know, like James is saying, he does that, and and I'm sure that he does. I see Richard Monder, who's in England, is a lifetime member, and he joined FPC. He says, but he said something happened with FPC. They changed their website. He can no longer join them from the UK. But there's people all over the world interested in this. There's people that listen to this podcast or watch it from all over the world because people are concerned. I think there's a lot of people in other countries trying to figure out how to speak English, and I'm not knocking that. I'm an immigrant myself, as was discussed earlier. But I think there are a lot of people around the world looking at what's happening here because we are the last man standing in America when it comes to this kind of freedom. I don't think it's 100% freedom, and we are quickly bleeding out with all the different paper cuts. But people are looking at this to see what directions things go here. And ultimately, there's lots of ways to fight back, and we have to fight back on all levels. They defeat us if they defeat us in the mind. This is not the end of the story. We've been here before. We've gone through these things before. We just have to keep up our stamina when it comes to fight back this stuff. So
I think Gorillas and Guns and I both saw one of the cool things about what happened in Virginia is what we saw what can happen at a grassroots level. And it's like guys, we're not out of ways to fight back yet. We're not. I mean, I know like some people want to grab their guns and go get at it, but it's like I don't know if we're entirely there yet, man. There's still things we can do, and especially like when you see how many thousands of people we turned out at these meetings, like that's organization. That's like you can do stuff like with that amount of people, and I think that it's something. I mean, if you got a better plan, you go ahead and try it. But this is something that I've seen work in Virginia. And I've seen it work elsewhere. I've seen it spread across 1/3 of the counties in this country. And I'm like, why not? Why not try it before you throw up your hands and say, all is lost? I don't think it's time to to retreat and to give up. I think, we still have avenues that we can follow. Another thing that I wanted to say is, as far as people, if they wanted to donate, I'm willing to accept donations of time. If you have skills, and you want to help, because just so you know, I'm doing all my own research. I'm tracking down these things on the Google machine. And then also if I find out about a new county that has passed a resolution, I don't know if you've seen any of the articles on my website, but we try to get copies of every single resolution. Because one of my main goals is to show people this is what they did in this county. This is what they did in this city. And take it, steal it, take their language, throw your county's name in there, and run it up the chain. Why not? Why start from scratch? So we got hundreds of resolutions on the website. And so if anybody is willing to donate some time doing some research, if anybody's willing to donate some time doing some web management, it's a WordPress, the website's on WordPress, it's very simple. Or if you do some graphic design, one of the most searched for things on my website is sanctuary county maps. They're looking for their state maps. They want to see every single county that's done. And so if anybody knows how to use photo editing software and you want to submit state maps, I can give you the data. I just need somebody to put it in a nice map, but I could publish it.
Cool.
So if anybody wants to do that kind of stuff, just contact at sanctuarycounties.com. Feel free. We got a Discord. I'll invite you, and you can help out.
Yeah.
So
just make sure they're not ops, man. There's lots of ops out there. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
You know what? Yeah. You don't want to get those people who schmooze with you just to get on there and then press the nuke button on it.
I'm not giving them that.
Yeah.
And it's good.
Go ahead.
It's good that you're trying to get other people involved in this, and that's what we did see here in Virginia. with the Virginia Citizens Defense League,
Mm.
they like to get people involved. They like to get their members involved, because that's what Grassroots is all about. It's not about an organization doing something. It's about an organization and the members doing something, the people doing something together to really make things happen. So the VCDL, I mean, I know a lot of people, even in Virginia, that have lived here their whole lives and have been gun owners who still never even heard of the VCDL, which I turned them on to them. And during this whole 2A sanctuary movement, their membership exploded, and it's huge. And then they put on Lobby Day. I remember, I don't know, you probably saw pictures from Lobby Day last year. They do it every year regardless, but last year was huge because there was, or 2019 one was huge because there was a big deal going on here in Virginia with us losing or possibly losing our gun rights. So, and with everything happening now, we've kind of been blocked. The VCDL's kind of been blocked a little bit, but they counterattack. They move and counter move, which is really nice.
Do you guys have each other's just numbers? Can you guys just text each other and organize, do it old school?
Yeah, well, see, they do a lot of stuff through email and their website, because they do have a pretty nice website. They also have other channels of communication, but they make sure that they communicate with people. Like, I probably get 5 or 6 emails from the VCDL a day about everything that's going on in Virginia. They even put some national news in there if it coincides with a lot of things that are happening. And this year they've organized, since these anti-gun groups have kind of blocked them from taking their usual path for Lobby Day, they've organized a new way to do it, like the Rolling Thunder idea. They've taken that and they've put that in to make that Lobby Day, so that way we can all abide by, I guess, the COVID restrictions and everything else. People will be in their vehicles. As say, I put one over in our chat here, the bus. That is a bus that they've gotten ready for Lobby Day, which is this Monday coming up. That's going to be part of.
You want me to share that?
Yeah, if you want, so people can see it. This is how they're getting the word out there, and it's an effective tool, because right now this is a huge rolling billboard in support of 2A rights here in Virginia. And it's not just in support of 2A rights in Virginia, because if we can keep our 2A rights on the local level, that will make it a lot easier to help us keep it on the federal level as well.
Okay, yeah. For some reason, I'm not sure why it didn't, why that link doesn't go to where it needs to. Let me check this out
it's
again.
Just
maybe
a picture.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's just a picture that you threw up there, but I am sharing or trying to share that with folks out there. Go to Virginia Citizens Defense League. That's the thing to do. Go there, and you could probably find all this information. Do those guys want to come on the show or something? If that helps, I'm down with that. We can get them on the show. If we could do something to help out with that as well, I think I'll be happy to do that.
Right.
So
just just so everybody knows, there's VCDL is not the only CDL out there.
Right.
I've run into another. It wasn't until I got involved with this that I'd even heard of VCDL, and then I'm on Facebook, and I was looking for other states to support, like to help get their county's information on what they're passing, and I'm like, oh, Arizona Citizens Defense. I was like searching for Citizens Defense League. So I would, if you can, take a look maybe on Facebook or maybe in Bing.com or
maybe this is something. I know you already have a bunch of stuff to do, but maybe this is another tab you could put on your website, like how to get all the Citizens Defense League set up around the country. I know it's extra work. I hope you find someone willing to do that. A couple of things. Brian Quick says Pete Brownell is on Tucker Carlson right now. Cool. Hopefully I'll be able to check that out here a little later. Night Train asked this question. He said, is there a chance of creating a sanctuary county in the deep blue state of Delaware?
No,
you could try.
Sorry.
Huh?
Well, I would say that if you can't get it at the county level, maybe try your city. Like I think I shared in the chat. I'm not sure if you put it up yet, but Yeah, you did. I think you did.
Mm-hmm.
But there's this town called Monument,
Mm-hmm.
Colorado, and they were like, yeah, we're not doing this COVID-19 lockdown stuff no more. No thanks.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're now a COVID-19 sanctuary.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
And it's like,
Nice.
so if you can't get it at the county level, do it at the city level. And
Yeah.
here's the
Just keep
thing.
going.
See how many cities you can get.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can get it. Maybe you'll let these county board members know, hey, look, like this many percent of the cities in this county are now 2A sanctuaries, and maybe you ought to be on board with this. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's the best I can tell you.
Mm-hmm.
And good luck.
Yeah. Let's
Didn't
do
say it was going to be easy.
right.
Didn't say it was.
Absolutely not. So let's do this, right? For folks who, because obviously you've been on the podcast before, and I think we went through what sanctuary counties is. But for the folks who haven't heard of it, let's go back and explain to people like what sanctuary counties is, what's the mission, and how can people find out about this and help you with it. Let's have that conversation here for a little while.
Okay. So like all the way back to the beginning, I was just a happy Virginian living my life free of tyranny. And next thing you know, the Democrats took control of the all three branches in Virginia, government, and they started introducing these laws. Like, one of them was like you can't have magazines with 15 rounds that hold 15 rounds in them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you did, you had to give them to the state or have them destroyed or send them to somebody out of the state, or you are now a felon or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they were doing stuff like talking about closing down ranges, and there was just these crazy laws. Also, AR-15s, I think they were going to make those illegal. And so anyway, we were going, like, we just got freaked out, and we started searching for that. I was like, what am I going to do? I don't want to be a felon, but I also don't want to lose my rights. Like, that doesn't, why is this even happening?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't even make sense.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I started searching, and that's when I found on Facebook. I don't know why I decided to search on Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
but I searched and I found the Virginia for 2A Sanctuaries Facebook group. As far as I know, it still exists. So if you're in Virginia and you can get there, please go get there. I will say that I've seen a number of Facebook groups that are changing their names. The name used to have the word gun in it, and now it's like NUG or Freedom or something like that, because they're trying to avoid lockdowns. But anyway, if the group is there, please go join it. And if not, hit me up on MeWe. We've created 51 groups, one for national and one for every single state. So, but back to the story. We started organizing in these Facebook groups. And the reason, as I said earlier, the reason that I created the website was so I could help people get the information that we were bringing to the table, bringing to the group, help get it outside of the group, because the stuff was locked. And this is one of the problems with being in these walled garden platforms where you can't get information out of it and you have to share it from within the platform itself. There's people who may have a massive contact list on email, but, they only have a few friends on Facebook, so they can't really share it to anybody when it's stuck in Facebook. So I was making the website as a means to provide an easy method for distribution of information about these Second Amendment sanctuary board meetings, so that people could take that information and get people to those meetings. And it freaking worked. We had thousands of people show up at these meetings. They were registering voters. They were signing petitions. It was amazing. VCDL was there. We had all of our, and this was great for local Virginia politicians too. I mean, if you're trying to make a name for yourself, if you got a good candidate and you think they should run for office, some kind of office,
Mm-hmm.
have them show up to these meetings. This is a great place to get to know the people that you are hoping to represent
Right.
in the future. So there was some wonderful turnout for this stuff, and at first I thought it was just a Virginia thing. I didn't know anything about New Mexico. It was happening in Virginia. It was happening to me, and I wanted to get involved, and so I did. And I will say that around this time, I was listening to a lot of Mark Levin. I don't know if you guys listen to Mark Levin, but he would have people. He had one day he had a caller call up, and he was like telling Mark, hey, you got to do this. You got to do that. And Mark's like, excuse me, I'm speaking to millions of people right now, trying to help them. And what is it that you've done? And so that's what really got me involved. I'm like, dang, what have I done?
Mm-hmm.
Have I done anything? Because I'm just a dude in Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm not like special. I don't have an elected office. I don't have millions of dollars. I have some skills and some time, and I decided to put them to use supporting the Second Amendment in my state and in my county. So that's one thing that I want people to understand is like, nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to, uphold your rights for you. Sometimes you got to do it yourself. And so I decided to get in the fight. And so that's when I realized that I needed to join. But also I realized eventually that this is happening in other states. And so while I created this as just a resource for other people in Virginia, I found out that people in Kentucky it just went nuts in Kentucky. Like they took off. And not just Kentucky, but Michigan and Georgia. Georgia was doing it, North Carolina. And so I got involved with all of their groups as well. And they would share their state maps with me. They would share their updates with me. And I would publish them on the website. And so I actually had a county. I think it was a sheriff. I think it was a sheriff or a county administrator down in Florida. They emailed me. They're like, "Hey, how come our county's not on your website? They're not on your map." And I'm like, what am I,
Yeah, you're the county guy. My county, by the way, is on there now. I don't know if it was my county or not, but
I had people thinking that I'm the person that is responsible for doing this, and I'm like, dude, I'm just a guy in Virginia. I'll do it, but I didn't know you got to tell me these things. I don't just know them. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the reasons that I put out the call for help. If you know something that I don't know, tell me, and then I will know. I don't because there's some counties that little tiny county don't have a whole lot of people in them, and maybe the news outlets didn't write a story about it. Mm-hmm. And so if you passed one in your little rural county, maybe I don't know about it. Mm-hmm. So feel free to send me this information. But so when I realized it was a more of a national movement, I kind of shifted gears to archiving it nationally, because I used to do a lot more writing stories and writing articles and being all pissed off about whatever was going on, and along with sharing information about board meetings and stuff. But then I was just like, no, we need to archive this. Nobody's doing it. Nobody's doing it at the national level. I know Gun Rights Watch was they had a couple of them, and I even stole some of their maps at the beginning, and they sent me an email and said it was okay, I guess. I realized that someone needs to archive this, because this is actually happening. And the thing about it was nobody knew that it was really happening all across the country. And so I saw that a number of people that were going to these meetings, and I really wanted to archive it to show other people, hey, this is something that we did. You can do it too. Mm-hmm. So that's really what got me to this point. And now, as I mentioned, we're seeing that it's being, adapted, used in different formats for the unborn, pro-life stuff, business stuff, First Amendment stuff. And I'm like, hey, all of that, why not? And one of the cool things about it, and I don't want to take up all the time left, but one of the cool things about doing something like this is you'll get to see who's not voting for it. And when somebody's not voting for these things, that that's a person that needs to go next time, right? You can actually organize to get that person out next time. So why not? Even if it's going to fail, maybe your person represented themselves as some pro Second Amendment person, but when the resolution came across the board, they backed out on you. And well, if that's the case, then now mm-hmm. and now you can get them out, and you can put somebody in that actually represents your values.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing, and that's why I wanted to ask about it. And I think I would encourage, if there's folks out there that are hearing this and they're interested in helping you, and they're serious about that, I would encourage people to do that, because I think you could use that help. And I think also that the grassroots level, the local places, there's a lot of power there that we'll find out. If we want to recall some of these people, to go to what you were just saying, that starts from the grassroots. Those are the people. That's where you could start it. You could go, hey, we are recalling our senator, our congressperson, and you can start it from there. So I think it's really powerful for people to pay attention to this and go out and help. Now, we've got some time left here. I do want to switch to a fun gun thing or whatever, just because it's Friday. And, I want the folks to get some cool gun stuff in their system. And I found something that I'm a massive fan of that I just shared here with everyone. So smash the thumbs ups right now. We've got about, maybe 10 minutes. And we're going to talk about this. But smash those thumbs ups. 8 more of them when we get to 100. So let's do that thing. But here's what I want to go into. And hopefully you guys will check this out. So this is on TFB, the firearms blog. Boom. And it's I'm guessing this is TFB Gunfest talking about it. The Magpul FDP-9, the 9mm folding Glock we deserve. Now, this was a thing that Magpul's had out for a long time, right? And I was even talking about this when Control Pew was on, that I would really like to see this come back, and they said they were working on printing it. And there's of course this video that everyone's seen here at SHOT Show back in 2008 of this dude here with this thing that just looks like a case or something like that with a light. And you guys are gonna see him flip it open here in a second and go to work. Come on, dude, flip it. Let's go. And there you go. All right, so this is an awesome thing. And what this article is talking about here is that Magpul is actually teasing that they showed the folding Glock, which I have. That's had some issues, but there's this video that they recently put out where they're teasing that this is coming back. You know, so, and here's some pictures and things like that of it. So this may be coming back as the FDC-9. I think they said who are they going to be working on it with. I don't think. Okay, it says ZevTech, FDP-9, and FDC-9. And whoever wrote this article said, "Rejoice, my fellow folding Glock enthusiasts, for the time is nigh upon us. Thanks to the fine people of Zev Technologies, they are resurrecting the FMG-9 and making the FDP-9 folding defense pistol and the FDC-9 folding defense carbine. So we have that to look forward to." What do you guys think about this? Hate it? Love it?
So, I mean, it's pretty neat, you know, and like from out of nowhere, bam, it's a gun. That's pretty cool. But my question is now, with the way it's set up, that it has that little
that's where I was going.
Race or how's that going to go over if the ATF decides to jump back on that bandwagon and start to ban pistol braces or whatever again? Is that going to have to be an AOW or SPR or go become an NFA item for just whatever they want to do? You know what I mean?
Right. I think that's a good point. But remember, a lot of this has been developed probably for a year or more than a year when this wasn't like actually a thing. And so now they've got to put it out. And yeah, it's kind of like, it could be bad timing. And then what it comes down to, I think, because there's other people, I think Magpul has come out with a new pistol brace and all that kind of stuff as well here. You're gonna have to get that approval letter from the ATF at some point, and hopefully we put enough pressure on the ATF to back them off of this completely. I don't hold up high hopes for that going forward right now with the incoming administration.
How many comments were actually made to the ATF during that whole comment period? I mean, I know they only gave us 5 days, but the comment thing was still up there even after the 5 days. I believe you can still go over there and comment right now if you want to on this whole issue, but
I'm not sure. So I understand the comment side of that. I'm not sure that the commenting thing is going to do much, that particular thing. But I see what you're saying. I think that when I say push back against it, I mean push back more vigorously against that, right? Like there needs to be enough pressure on Congress that they put pressure on the ATF, which I think happened maybe a little bit.
Yeah. There was a number of, I think, senators and congressmen that wrote a letter to them or whatever.
Yeah. And even if they do it, people should just not comply with that. That's my personal opinion. And then states and cities, counties, etc. should push back. 42 Chilled said he saw 60K plus. I'm not sure of what. Maybe we could look it up and see what the current numbers are. I'm not telling people not to do that. I don't think that the ATF really, that was like a formality.
Right.
And I think they changed things more from the political pressure that they were getting. The question is, can we keep that up on them?
But I think the amount of and that's, to me, that's a small amount of comments. And I think the small amount of comments kind of shows how soft the 2A community has become on this, how complacent it's kind of become, or maybe frustrated with the whole thing because we're just thinking, hey, well, what does my comment matter? They're just going to do it anyway. Yeah. What does my vote count for? Because they're just going to do whatever they want anyway. Right. So is that causing us to back off on what we're trying to do because we're just so frustrated that we think they're just going to get away with anything and it's not worth our time to even bother?
So yeah, look, if you look at the number of those things that are out there in the world, at least
Mhm.
4 or 5 million or something like that, maybe more, and probably in the last 6 months, you've got had at least another million go out there into the world, right? The companies are still selling these things, and from what
Right.
I hear, they're going to keep selling them unless they get specific instructions from the ATF. ATF technically can't actually even regulate this side of it. I think we could see from this thing with Magpul teaming up with Zev. Magpul tried to put out an AR a long time ago. I don't know if people know about that. It was very quick, very temporary out there, and a lot of people, very few people even got their hands on them. But there are Magpul branded ARs out there, and I think a lot of folks in the gun world got their hands on them. And I think it's called the China Doll now or something like that. Very hard to get your hands on. There's actual lowers, and then there's complete guns out there. But then they got out of the business. They're doing this with ZevTech because they don't want to. Magpul doesn't want to be an FFL really, and ZevTech is going to take all that on. And yes, the companies have to deal with this stuff. And there are a lot of people that got it. The most effective way, though, is to put pressure on the politicians so that they put pressure on the ATF. Regardless of whether we're a minority, majority type situation here, politicians can still put pressure. And then people could just go, no, we're just not going to comply with your nonsense. And we don't care what you do. And then the place, if you're going to fight it, is in the courts and stuff. I think ultimately the ATF doesn't care. I mean, they already told Biden, hey, we want to go after this and 90% lowers, etc. So, but I see, I saw there were a lot of people out there frustrated that folks didn't go and sign up to that thing. And I think I understand why people just don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over again. Of, I'm going to go comment here, then what does that actually do in the real world to put pressure?
One of the issues with and I think I heard some people talking about it, but it was like, well, if I go comment about was it SB Tactical Brace or whatever, if I go comment on this, am I basically just telling them that I have it, right? Like I'm not trying to out myself by going and commenting on it.
I guess
so
that's
I feel
the
like
thing too. Yeah,
that
is a thing.
That's up to you.
Yeah, I think that's a complicated situation. I know everyone's on different sides, so I'm on the side of I don't need to comment on their thing. They don't need to do it. Okay, and it's going to come down to voting for me and seeing who's voting locally and what they're doing, and then pushing back and then refusing to comply with their nonsense because I want this coolness and it needs to be out yesterday. Okay, and let's say this is a cool thing. To me, this is a cool thing. I know I'm nerdy. Right. I know I'm a nerd. I get it. But I think this is, let's look at this picture again. You see this guy here walking around with this? I want something that looks like a little radio or whatever. I want that. And if it came out right now and I got my hands on it and then the ATF or whoever decides that they're going to make everything illegal. That's their plan. But if they came out and said, oh yeah, no, you're not getting those back. That's what I think about that. And just like how we saw the video where someone called the police on that ATF agent and then he got tased, that's one option. That's one option. But I think it's cool. You didn't say what you thought about it, Noah.
Well, I liked it. I think it's really cool. What I was going to say was the same thing that Gorillas and Guns there said was, which brought us to this whole conversation in the first place. I'm like, oh, well, he clearly put it, on his shoulder there. So I know. I'm like, that's great. Can't wait for the ATF to take it away. But I think it looks really cool. It's like, it's sort of a off-body concealed carries, if that's a thing.
Yeah, I guess you could put it in your pocket. If you look at the other marketing stuff they have of this as a guy with a jacket, you can put it in your pocket. You know what I think?
Well, I meant like if you held it, it kind of doesn't look like a gun. It just you're just holding.
Yeah,
looks like a skinny lunchbox.
Yeah, I think so, man. You know what they should do? There should be like some kind of device you put on your shoulder that extends out, and then maybe you're not actually shouldering. I don't know. I don't know if you even, like, something like this, I don't even know. Like, I remember just the AR pistols. Does anyone remember that back in the olden days when it was just a pistol tube?
No.
You don't remember that? Like an AR pistol was just a pistol tube in the back there. There was no stock or anything. That's how it used to be. And you could just take that tube and cheek it if you really need it. You just need multiple points of contact. But everyone, I understand, right? Everyone just goes, oh, well, my shoulder's the best place for me to, But I have a video where I'm shooting, I believe it was a Diamondback, actually, AR pistol. And I'm just cheeking it, and it feels just fine for me. So, But for all we know, they'll ban that, too. They're like, oh, no, people are cheeking it.
It's for the disabled.
Yeah, it could just get crazy. Okay, so listen, we're at 9 o'clock here. We got here really fast, which is good. Always a good sign. We're not at 100 thumbs ups. You guys need to smash those thumbs ups. If you're out there right now, smash them. Help us out.
5 more.
Yeah, we're close to there, so we're gonna hold on and do this. What I'm gonna do is go around here and let these guys tell you how you can where you can find them, how you can support them. Please do go follow them, check these things out, share their stuff. When Sanctuary Counties, is throwing stuff up on MeWe or wherever it is, go do it. Same thing with Gorillas and Guns, please. And I'm going to start with Gorillas and Guns. Tell the folks how they can support you.
All right, well, you can support me by obviously subscribing to me here on YouTube. Find me over on Facebook on the Gorillas and Guns group. Which is surprising that I'm still up. Me and my wife were having a conversation about that the other day, because this was she plays Fallout 76, and there's a little group of people in there, and one guy's comment was about to get removed because he had the word gun in the comment, so he had to change it to weapon. And she's like, I don't know how your Facebook group is still up because it's Gorillas and Guns, So,
yeah.
But you can find me there. You can find me over on Patreon. You can support me at blackswantactical.com. I have some merchandise over there, and all the proceeds from the merchandise, I don't get none of that. I could if I wanted to, but I decided to go ahead and let John Crump take that to help out with his niece Bella. So by supporting me, you're supporting her and her family, and they are really in need of it right now. So go find anything. There's all kinds of stuff on blackswantactical.com that you can buy. You don't have to just buy my merchandise, and anything that you buy there, the proceeds go to help out Bella and her family. So for me, that's supporting me as well by helping to support them. And that's really about all I've got going on right now. But yeah, just come check me out on YouTube. Follow along. You might get some laughs. You might think I'm stupid. Who knows? I don't care. I'm just having fun.
Absolutely. Just keep having fun, man. And guess what? It depends on what platform you're on for that kind of stuff. So here on YouTube, that always becomes a thing. The name, your name specifically, always. So I change it to G&G or something like that, just so they don't really come down on it too hard. Let's put it that way. Too hard. We got like one more away, and then we'll be at 100. Okay, let's go. So one more person out there. Oh, boom! There you go. Just saw it. Okay, so Noah, tell the folks out there, same thing, same rundown, how they can find you, support you, etc.
Sure. Yeah. Sanctuarycounties.com. That's the focal point of everything that I do. I was on Parler. I was Sanctuary Counties there. I'm on Facebook. It's actually Sanctuary County with a Y because somebody grabbed Sanctuary Counties and now they're selling T-shirts, which I should be doing, but I'm not really. But anyway, so Sanctuary County on Facebook. I'm on Twitter, but I don't really follow it very much. Because just like everybody else, I can only do so much, man. And people will talk to me on various platforms, and I'm like, well, I can't follow every single conversation. I got a day job, I got kids, I got other stuff to do. But if you really want to get something to me, contact@sanctuarycounties.com. If you know of a county that is a new sanctuary for something, like anything, Second Amendment, Constitution, babies, unborn babies, I don't know, whatever. They're coming up with crazy sanctuary resolutions.
You need a sanctuary county for combustion engines.
Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
Well, if you're more of a conservative sort of a sanctuary county and I don't know about it, it's not on my website somewhere, please send it to me. Send me the resolution. I need a resolution. Or if you don't know where that is, I can do the research, try to find it. Just send me a link to some kind of a verification that it happened. And, in order to support, visit the website. I got ads on there. That's all I'm going to say on that. And also Patreon. I'm there if you want to chip in some dollars. And aside from that, if I ever do go the 501c3 route, I will let you guys know, and maybe you guys can send some donations my way that way. And additionally, just send some emails if you want to help out, like with the research, help make the maps or anything like that. I take any kind of donated time. That's fine with me. And yeah, that's it.
Okay, awesome. Thanks. I hope this helped. I hope that last time it helped to raise the profile. I hope this helped as well. I'm going to try to do more to help you out through this year, have you back on, or if there's things that come up, I invite you to say, hey, can I come on for 10, 15, 20 minutes and talk to the folks about this thing? As well as for both of you or folks out there, if there's people running in local elections and they need some help getting off the ground, just let's figure out a way. If they're legit and you've vetted them to know that they're not like a crazy or whatever it is, and they're legit in what they're doing, I'll be happy to invite them to come on here, and we'll try to help them out and get their social media numbers up, or get folks in whatever state or county that they're in to get behind them and help support them. I think we just need to do more. Instead of just being like depressed and stressed out about all of this kind of stuff, we need to get out there and do more about this. I'm going to wrap it up here in a second. Big thanks to Walther Arms for sponsoring us and supporting us, helping us to do this. Big shout out to you guys out there as well. I hope everyone has a great weekend out there. I'm going to go to the end and we're going to come back and get the last word. And let's see. Boom, there we go. All right, guys, thanks for watching us. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, smash the thumbs ups, leave comments here. We're going to rip out the audio from this and throw it up on iTunes and all the other places that you listen to your audio podcast. People around the world listening to this, shout out to all the people around the world. I hope you're enjoying this and you're getting something out of this. Who would like to leave us with the last words?
I don't mind doing it.
Go ahead, go for it then.
All right. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but hey, I built the website as a platform for getting involved in the sanctuary movement. And if you want to publish something about something going on in your county or your city, my website is your website. If Parler ever comes back online, my 29,000 followers or your 29,000 followers, just send me the information. I will publish it for you, and we will get the word out about what you're doing in your area. And that's what I got.
Awesome. All right, guys, we're out of here. Stay safe. We will see you next week. We're out of here. Peace.